Hello and welcome everyone to a returning episode of Come Play With Us Danny, the horror movie review podcast hosted by myself and my sister Megan. Hello.
Hola.
It's
Hello.
been a long time since we
it's-
left you without some dope beats to set
No.
you. No.
Okay. No.
Okay.
It's been a very, very long time.
It's been a while,
been
everyone, since we've done a show.
Mm.
If you are tuning in, make sure to go to our YouTube page at Come Play With Us Danny Show.
Mm-hmm.
Hit that subscribe and notification bell whenever you can to get new episodes, which will hopefully be more frequently now instead of
Yes.
maybe gaps apart.
Well, we're planning on doing them every Wednesday, are we not?
Yes, we are planning that to do every Wednesday. So
Yes.
today is Wednesday.
It is.
Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Everyone out there.
Everyone. I got a day off from work, so thank you. Juneteenth day.
I have a normal day off, but thank you, Juneteenth.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, the movie we will be reviewing tonight is the First Omen. I mean, in a day and age of prequels, requels, reboots, remakes,
Non-imaginative movies.
spin-offs, sometimes a prequel comes out of that trash bag as something actually not bad. And the First Omen is
not that bad. Yeah.
It was not that bad.
No.
The First Omen, which is now streaming on Hulu, so go check it out. For free, is of course a 2024 American supernatural horror film directed by Arkasha Stevenson, who co-wrote the screenplay with Tim Smith, Keith Thomas, and also Ben Jacoby, who created the story. This is a prequel to The Omen. If you haven't seen The Omen, you were living under a rock, and you need to go see it.
Yes.
Obviously, if you don't see this one first and see the actual Omen, that's okay. This one kind of gives you a backstory into that, leading into it. It's a really kind of cool transition how they transitioned into the First Omen. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, folks. If you saw a pause in that, we had to pause the recording. Anyways, so if you haven't seen the actual Omen itself, I would suggest see that first, then see this one. But if you see this one, make sure you see the Omen after that. And there's like 3 other sequels after that too. And then you have the mid to late 2000s remake with Liev Schreiber, which was
and Julia Stiles and
Julia Stiles, yeah.
Which it was okay.
I think it came out after like they started doing remakes of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all that stuff. So, but yeah, it was all right. But this is actually the prequel to the actual First Omen, starring the legendary Gregory Peck himself.
Yes.
The First Omen stars Nell Tiger Tawfeek Barhom. These are weird ass names. Tawfeek Barhom, Sônia Braga, Ralph Ineson, and the legendary Bill Nighy. The plot follows an American woman who was sent to a church in Rome who uncovers a sinister conspiracy to bring the birth of the Antichrist. It's always a sinister conspiracy with the Church of the Lord when it comes to the Antichrist. What I thought was kind of cool was, did you notice the name of the father that kind of got impaled in like the first 5 minutes? His name,
which was
Father Harris.
Father Harris, which is what from the first one,
right?
I thought this one tied like nicely into a disturbing bow into the first movie.
Yeah, I thought so too. With the locations that they had and the type of cinematography that they had for the movie as well, it really kind of brought you back to that 70s aesthetic of how they filmed the first one, which was I think back in the late 70s. So you kind of I'm glad that they did that, because most of these prequels or whatever, whenever they're filmed, they don't have the same like color tone, and they don't have the same like, tone as the actual original type of film. So I'm glad that they did that for this one, because you really kind of have that 70s vibe, like, hey, we're back in that time, and especially even where they're at in the locations and stuff like that. I thought it was beautifully shot. the cast was great.
Mhm.
It's always I don't know, it's something with nuns that nuns are always sinister. They always have like a sad, sinister look on their faces, like they know something that everybody else doesn't know. Obviously, with this film, they do know something that they're trying to get the Antichrist birthed out.
Like they've seen too much.
Yeah, I think nuns just. I
I
think
don't know.
nuns go into it thinking they're not going to see a lot, but they do see a lot.
Well, yeah, because of the way that the church is set up and the way that religion is in general. I mean, you have to think in reality, convents and churches in general are
Mhm.
fucked up. I'm sorry for those who are religious and watching this, but it's true.
I thought this movie would be. I thought it was going to be have a little bit more jump scares to it. There were a couple that were kind of cool when she comes back to her hotel and she sees like that black figure on the
Yeah.
wall, which turns out to be clothes. That was creepy. That was cool.
I liked the subtle jump
This-
scares this had because
Yeah,
you have to think like the very first movie didn't have jump scares.
right.
So going within the lines of the original movie, I think they did it right by not doing like a conjuring type of, jump scare. I think it
I
would
can
have ruined it. I think it would have made it weird.
I can agree with that. Yeah, yeah. Because to me, this was more of like a supernatural
Mhm.
thriller type movie than a straight up just like horror film. Although like the birthing scene that we saw was a little bit over the top.
So went to go see this in the theaters, and we brought there's let's see, there was 5 of us that went,
Hmm.
and we went for our friend Aaron's birthday. And me being a female myself, whatever. That scene for me was a little much. And like the 3 guys that we had with us were all
Hmm.
like,
Yeah,
that was a little I,
yeah.
I liked the effect, but the birthing scenes were a little too much for me. Like I just
Imagine
couldn't
if
do it.
imagine if the first Omen was in like 3D and you have that scene where it's like
That actually would have
come,
been kind of
hand comes out,
cool. Yeah, that'd
the
been kind
hand
of
comes out.
cool. Like the whole Jaws
Right.
3, Jaws
Yeah.
3.
The slow moving, non moving shark where it just comes at you. Dun-dun, dun-dun.
Mhm.
Performances, how Nell Tiger Free, I thought, did a really good job as the lead.
Agreed.
Um, very just kind of, although like her expressions though, when she's like, was always just like the bug eyes thing, which kind of threw me off. But I thought she carried the movie well. I think she did a great job
Uh-huh.
as a lead, and then the supporting cast was great too. I mean,
Well, I mean, you have a couple of famous. You have Bill Nighy, which he's fantastic to begin with. Ralph Ensign, you know who Ralph Ensign is?
yes, he is confirmed to be Galactus in the new Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, is he
So
really?
I'm excited for that because well, dude, all you need is his voice.
Yeah, the man sounds like he's gargling
Yeah,
gravel.
I mean, he's been on so much good stuff. I
Yes.
mean, and like good creepy stuff too. I mean, The Witch comes
Yep.
to mind. He was in
Oh,
that
that was a
movie.
good movie. Yeah, he was the
The father,
father.
he was the
Yeah,
father. Yeah, but like
yeah.
him being in this film really brought some extra weight because
Mhm.
he's a really good actor and just the voice, man.
Yep.
Like
Eh,
he could have been the evil priest, instead of like the good priest,
he could have.
you
But
know?
I think the way that they set him up in this role, I think it did him and the movie really well because
Yeah.
I don't think they could have put anybody else.
Hmm.
And how so I want your opinion on the nun.
Twist.
No, the nun that killed herself.
So
I need your
I
opinion on that.
I wish they would have done it a different way.
How so?
Well, it just mirrors I mean, if they were going for that mirror of the actual first film where the nanny goes up top and says, "Hey, it's all for you, Damien," then
Yeah,
hangs herself.
yeah.
Then okay, I can if that's what you were going for, just to so that way it kind of parallels the first movie. I'm fine
Mhm,
with that.
mhm,
But obviously, since we've seen the original, I think doing that it was fine. I just wish they maybe would have done something else instead of like hey, it's all for you. You set yourself on fire, and then I just wish they would have maybe done something different instead of
Okay.
just doing that. I mean, but it was
Okay.
fine. You know,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
kind of saw it coming anyways because of the trailers that coming
Mhm.
out, and you see her face, and she's just like,
Nuts.
all
Yeah.
smiles and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was fine. If they were going for that, where hey, it mirrors like the actual First Omen, then I'm okay with it. But I just wish they would have maybe thought of something more creative to do something like that
Mhm.
instead of like just it's all for you. I guess it's all for him. I guess. I mean, it's cool.
Well,
It's all for him.
I mean, and you have to think that so in the first movie, the nanny hung herself for
Mhm.
actually for
For
Damien.
Damien, yeah.
So in this movie,
You don't know who
the
she's doing
nun
it
set
for.
herself on fire for no, she does you don't
You don't.
because you have the lead and then you have the girl
Mhm.
that she was trying to protect.
Right.
So you don't really know which one she was actually doing it for. I actually kind of liked it for that. I think that them adding it into where she sets herself on fire was a little it was a little added okay, that was good. But
Mhm.
I agree that I think they could have done it a different way.
Yeah. I I just when the scene happened, I'm like, "Alright, it's all for you," and then you say,
Yeah,
I
you
wish
know
they
they had
would
to
have.
tie that in there
I
somewhere.
know, I know. Um, Let me ask you about the twists or twist that it turns out to be she is the mother of Damien and not the other girl. Did you kind of see it coming?
After the first couple scenes with the little girl,
Mhm.
I kind of figured out it was her. I
Okay.
figured out that it was the lead.
Okay.
Only because when you hyper focus on a a part in that character,
Yeah.
it either means it is or it isn't.
Right.
Like,
I got that vibe too because for a while there I thought, okay, it could be the girl and she's just there as a protector, and then we'll
mm,
see maybe her at the end being the protector of the girl if the girl has to go through that birthing scene. But
mhm,
then as the movie kind of progressed, I kind of figured it out. I was like, okay, I bet you this girl is the actual like mother to
yeah.
be. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a huge oh my god. It wasn't one of those twists. You kind of like slowly figure it out throughout the movie, and then when the big reveal happens, it's like guys, we kind of already know.
I feel like I think because the girl was for me, the girl was too young of a character to make her
Hmm.
pregnant.
Yeah,
That I feel like the movie would have had like ridicule
yeah, yeah,
if she was pregnant
yeah.
because she was really young in that movie. So I mean, my question was what happened to her at the end of the movie because
Didn't
she was an offspring also.
so at the end, uh, they both were in seclusion in that cabin at the end.
I know that, but
Yeah.
moving forward, what
Oh yeah. Well, so I read some stuff where they're looking to make a sequel to this movie where it's set in the same universe as the actual First Omen with Gregory Peck. So they're possibly looking to make so that way you know what happens to the mother and the girl. So there could be like people after them or whatever. But yeah, I had that question too because in the First Omen, hey, they're still like mom's still alive,
and she gives up.
sister's kind of still alive too.
Yeah,
What's
and the mother
yeah,
gives up Damien. So like,
yeah,
what was the circumstance? What happened there? So that's
right.
I mean, I cool. They left it open for another
Yeah, they
one. I just
definitely left it open for a sequel to happen, but I mean, if you want to tell that story, you can. But how exciting would it be if you try to tell that story? You
I
know?
don't think it would. Like I feel like this in this instance, I feel like they should just quit while they're ahead
Yeah,
because this was a decent movie
yeah,
of the original, which I was kind of scared because of recent events of
yeah,
certain other movies, The Exorcist.
yeah,
Um, so I was kind of hesitant about doing this, but I was actually pleasantly surprised watching it. Like it was actually an enjoyable movie. Like I said, we saw it in the theaters, so it was on big screen. It was great.
yeah. I mean, watching it via streaming on Hulu, I wasn't let down. I was like, this is actually pretty good. Like I'm not
Mhm.
disappointed. I didn't, play on my phone while the movie was going. So like it was actually a decent movie where I was like, okay, I'm gonna be invested in this. I'm gonna watch it all the way through. There were a couple of things that I was kind of like, maybe they could have done that better. And one obvious thing was at the very beginning of the movie where they're underneath the window pane where it starts to shatter. I'm like, all right, well, one of these dudes is gonna get impaled. I mean, as soon as you saw it shatter, I'm like, somebody's going down. I mean, this is like, come on, obvious as hell.
That was an automatic, like, somebody's gonna get impaled. I mean, which is fine, and I know, again, they did that to, like, the homage for the first movie where the priest was, impaled by what was the weather vane, I think it was, in the first one.
First one,
So I think the movie had kinda, like, Easter eggs all over it, which is fine,
right.
and if you do it in a good form, I'm all for it. It's when you get ridiculous and you start putting stuff in there, you're like, "Well, fuck, of course it's gonna be in there."
I loved how they at the end they tied in the first movie, the actual first movie, where they showed the picture of Gregory Peck, like, hey, this ambassador from the U.S. This is going to be the new father of the kid, and their baby mysteriously died, and blah blah blah. They're going to be the new character. Like that was cool. How they actually. This was a movie where the tie-in to the actual original movie made sense. And it was almost like a clean handoff. Like, okay, hey, we're transitioning now into the period of the actual First Omen where the baby is born, and he's going to be into the arms and hands of the original characters. I thought that was great. I thought they didn't misstep that one whatsoever. I did think like the third act though was at some points hokey. Like the last part of the movie where you see the actual jackal was kind of like, all right, well, CGI jackal, like, come on, like make it a little bit more ambiguous than like her seeing the full jackal in full formation. I didn't. To me, that could have been like left alone.
I think they could have just like done hints of it, like in the movie you saw the Boogeyman, the recent one that just came out. So like they gave that monster away at the end, but it wasn't horrible. Like it was it was tolerable enough. I think a lot of these films nowadays, when they do CGI, I think they're giving away too much of the character. And like just leave it a little bit of mystery. If you're not going to do a practical effect, then if it's CGI, then it needs to be something that's going to be it's like a hint of something. It's not just the whole thing.
I agree. Yeah, when the final scene where they're running away, getting out of there, and she looks back and sees the jackal. I'm like, this looks like the Rock Scorpion King character from the Scorpion, like the Mummy too. This looks so bad. Yeah, to me it looked that bad. And also like after the car crash, I thought Father Brennan was dead. Ralph Ineson's character. I thought he was done for, and then this him just popping up at the end. I'm like, wait, you were just in a horrible car crash. Sid, you're alive. You're alive now.
Like, how do you survive that?
Yeah,
that's not possible.
Hey, it's the movies.
This is true. This is true.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the First Omen. A prequel they actually did right. So congrats.
Yep. And for those who want to see it again, it's on Hulu and it's for free. So
yeah,
just watch it. But you're actually going to want to pay attention to it though.
Yes, and if you've seen the actual Omen, like look for the Easter eggs because there's a ton of them in there. And they're actually pretty good. So, should we do movie news?
Why not?
All right, movie news. It Follows is getting a sequel.
Oh God, what is it? It Follows Closer.
No, it's called They Follows. They Follow.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you didn't like It Follows?
No, and I can briefly tell you why. I don't like movies like It Follows of how it's based.
Yeah.
Where you're constantly being chased by something. Like I'm all for poltergeist type movies. I'm good. But It Follows annoyed the living hell out of me because the concept was a little fucking hokey.
Okay.
Like you have sex with somebody
and then it chases after you.
Then it chases after you like a fucking STD on the run. Like that's just
it's a metaphor for kids nowadays. It's a metaphor, Megan.
I know that. Like what? So you have sex with somebody, and now HPV is going to kill you. Like, well, literally. But still, like I'm just not a big fan of those type of movies. And if you're going to do those type of movies, like, so Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
Scary Stories. It wasn't bad, but
no, it was such a letdown.
I get it could have been more. It could have been better. I
Come on,
guess.
we grew
But
up with that book, and to
I
see
have
it
the book.
put
I
it
have the book.
to put it in movie form, I was like, no, this isn't.
Yeah, they feel like
This isn't the book I was creeped out at with the awesome artwork.
yeah, but
Gave me nightmares.
it follows it. I feel like it's one of those other movies that could have had a better concept.
So
It just
my question is like, for They Follow, is it going to still be the same premise? You know,
just more
don't
STDs.
more STDs. Okay,
So
okay.
I don't know how you're going to add to that. Like I don't.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I just the first
We'll find out. They Follow will be here soon. So
okay.
let's do a critique on a trailer. This is going to be for MaXXXine. The
Okay.
final
I've been seeing this
installment.
back and forth.
The final installments of Ty West's MaXXXine trilogy, whatever. First starting with X and then Pearl. Let's cue it up right now. A24, of course. I like the setting of this going into the 80s, and you know, him filming it kind of like an 80s film, like the grittiness of it. It almost reminded me of did you see the Henry Lee Lucas movie?
Which one?
It starred Michael Roker from, he played Yondu. He was Henry, the Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yes, I did actually.
It kind of remind like that tone, or like that kind of like gritty, like 35 millimeter, like 80s type, grindhouse type of film. Like the look of it, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why I like the look of it. And it has more like the way it's kind of set up this trailer. It kind of reminds me of Maniac too, the original Maniac. Like it kind of reminds me of that.
That was a good movie. Maniac was a good movie.
It kind of reminds me of Maniac a little bit too. So I like how they're kind of like Pearl was set in like the 40s or whatever, and then you had X, which was like the 70s. This is like 80s. So
the 80s.
Yeah, so I'm glad like the tone it looks right.
It looks good, but I feel like she's gonna have too many speaking parts, and I'm gonna get annoyed at her.
Well, she's the star of the show. That's gonna happen. I love the cast, by the way. The supporting cast.
The supporting cast is good. I feel like this might be also shot in like like American Psycho. How American Psycho was shot. This kind of gives me like kind of a American Psycho vibe also, because that was in the 80s also. Yeah. So I mean, I'll see it. I probably won't go to the theaters to see it, but I'll see it on a platform. It does look interesting.
Yeah, I'll stop it there before YouTube tells us to take it down. Yeah, you're right. I just with her acting, I just hope in this one she doesn't like have to scream a lot.
Yeah, because the last couple movies that she had to do that made me want to pull my hair out. And,
Pearl was the worst.
Pearl was the worst.
Was the worst one. Oh.
Like that one was too over the top. Like I'm like I've said it multiple times. I am all for gore. I'm all for shock value. I'm all for scream queens. Fucking tone it down, Mia. Go.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, maybe not speaking a country accent ever again. So
please no.
All right. So I think we talked about this on earlier shows that A24 was making a Crystal Lake television series based on Friday the 13th. So which
has been waylaid several times.
Well, it's now up in smoke. It's not happening anymore.
Oh shit.
So things went down with showrunner Brian Fuller, who created the show Hannibal based on the Silence of the Lambs movie. If you haven't seen the television series Hannibal, go watch it on Netflix. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've actually seen it. It's good.
He was fired from the project. So the main kind of what went down was Peacock had given the project a straight to series order in 2022 with called Crystal Lake. It was kind of described as a expanded prequel to the original Friday the 13th series, which would have both Jason Voorhees and his mom, of course, Pamela Voorhees. They were going to have Charlize Theron play Mrs. Voorhees, which I thought was pretty good.
Okay, very interesting.
They were going to have an episode written by Kevin Williamson himself from Scream. Okay. And it was going to one of the episodes was going to take place entirely on frozen Crystal Lake. So, a frozen Crystal Lake, pretty cool idea. Okay. But everything kind of went up in smoke because of creativity. I guess they were A24 was blaming the show was blaming Brian Fuller for the breakdown of everything. So now it's kind of up in smoke. And I guess what the thing was, they were going to have elements from the other movies incorporated with this show, kind of like what he did with Hannibal, which it would have been a good idea. But I guess everything kind of went up in smoke, which to me, A24 has been churning out really good content, like really good IPs
Lately, yes.
lately. And
Yes.
you know, to them to foray into television, I think is a good thing for them too. But to have this go up in smoke is kind of a head scratcher to me, because I think they would have knocked it out of the park, especially when you have a guy like Brian Fuller as your showrunner, which he knocked Hannibal out of the park. And if you're eyeing Charlize as Pamela Voorhees, you can't go wrong with Charlize.
I don't know why. I feel like maybe everybody had too many ideas all at once, and they just, it's one of those kind of like muddled concepts where they just kind of probably couldn't get everything working, which really sucks, because Welcome to Derry's actually in production now, I think, for the whole Pennywise, thing. So that would have been great to have both of those come out at the same time.
Yeah.
That sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe they'll circle.
Maybe they'll get it together. The Smile 2 teaser trailer came out this past week.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on What were your thoughts?
I am going to go into this as an open mind. Now, I did like Smile.
Smile was great.
I was a fan of that movie. However, I was very disappointed at the end. I wanted to punch the guy in the face because he knew better. But I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna go into it with an open mind, because the trailer was kind of like, like it didn't make me go, well, fun. This looks like this could be something great, like a follow up to it. Like, to me, this looks like a follow up, like Sinister 2 was to the first movie. Does that make sense?
It does, because after watching this trailer, it just looks like there's no connection to the first film.
No, it doesn't. And there's not the same characters, which there was characters left over from the first movie. It just looks like it, but I would be interested to see how they're going to tie it in to the first movie. They have to, at least, because you don't know. I mean, they're going to have.
The only thing I can think, if they're going to tie it into the first film, is if they do one of those a la, hey, something happened to such and such in another like state and city where they saw the same thing and did this and that. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen with this one, because
when they do that,
well, of course you never know, because like after watching the trailer, I thought the concept looked pretty decent. I mean, you have a pop star who's, I hope it's not none of these. The
concept looks decent.
Hopefully it's not another metaphor movie where it's, social media and TikToks is ruining the world. That's why she smiles and goes crazy. I don't know. But I thought the concept, it looks pretty slickly filmed. It looks pretty nice. But yeah, if they're gonna try and tie in the first movie, I can just see them going, something that there's a woman in this town that suffered through the same thing and saw the same visions, and now blah blah blah.
I hate when they do that. I hate it. That's the worst thing in the world when they do that, because it's like you can't come up with an initial concept to begin with, so you're just going to go.
But Megan, you never know. They could just be like, look, this is a new chapter in the Smile franchise. There's no connection to the first movie, and we're just doing separate stories in the Smile universe, and these aren't connected at all. They could be just doing that, which to me, it's not a bad idea either. If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do separate stories, and then maybe down the line you tie everything together, maybe that could be kind of a cool concept too.
Okay, like I said, I'll give it a chance. I'm not pegging it to be something that's going to be fantastic,
right? Because you could always bring back characters who you thought were dead that should be like brought back later in the franchise, like some franchises we know, and some. That should happen. I'm just saying Stu Macher should be in Scream set, the next Scream movie.
We know this.
So I'm just saying, look, it's been a while since we've done this, and I have to throw that in there.
It's fine. I expected it right off the bat.
Okay. So
all right.
So we both saw The Exorcist, The Believer.
Shite.
It was terrible. It was the worst
shite.
piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. I was bored within the first 15 minutes. Anyways, we digress. Legendary director Mike Flanagan will be taking over the newest Exorcist movie, which will be is said to be a new
A reimagining.
reimagining of The Exorcist. So it has no connection to the Exorcist Believer. This is a radical new take on the franchise.
Now, is this the one that Russell Crowe is in?
No, that is the Exorcism. This is the Exorcist.
What?
This is like a brand new take. Yeah,
What is
the
happening?
Exorcism that Russell Crowe is doing is a totally different movie, which I thought was supposed to be a sequel to the Pope's Exorcist or whatever.
That's
but
what I was at. It's not.
This new movie with him is in a different. It's different. It's not even connected. I guess there's going to be a sequel to that. The Pope's Exorcism. There's going to be a sequel to that, but this new movie with him, it's a new exorcism movie. He likes to be in exorcism movies now.
That's great, but you know how many of those things have been fucking made? Can we just not?
Yeah,
it's just.
I know.
Please.
I know. So yeah, this new radical take on The Exorcist, directed by Mike Flanagan, will be hitting theaters and cinemas in 2026. So can't wait. Mike Flanagan, don't drop the ball.
Please.
And some awesome news that I think we'll all be, you and I will be thankful to hear about, is we'll finally get to see the new trailer for Nosferatu, which will be dropping this weekend in theaters. So obviously it will be up on YouTube and the internets probably after this weekend. So that'll be awesome to see.
I'm hella excited over that, actually.
Okay. And last bit of movie news. What were your initial reactions to Beetlejuice trailer?
Okay. I was actually pleasantly surprised and disappointed all in one weird ball.
Okay.
Mainly because I feel like this is going to be more of a comedy situation, which it should be in some aspects.
Okay.
I'm going to walk into this in an open mind because Beetlejuice is probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
And the fact that Tim Burton has grabbed a hold of this,
everybody's back.
And everybody's back. I'm going to be okay with this. I was the first, I think, because everybody looks so fucking old. Is that bad to say? Like, I think
no, it's not. It's not bad to say, but I'm kind of in your state of mind because Burton hasn't had a hit in a while.
No.
And
what was his last movie?
I don't even know.
Was it Willy Wonka?
No, I think it was it Oz the Great and Powerful?
No.
I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while, but for some reason now, I don't like the way his films look.
Why?
They have that. It has every single one of the films, like, the Wonka movie.
I hated the Wonka movie.
The Wonka movie. The Demon Barber.
Sweeney Todd, I like.
Dark Shadows. I'm not talking about. I did not say I didn't like the movies, like Sleepy Hollow, Big Fish, Alice in Wonderland, Dark Shadows, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Sweeney Todd. They all look like they have that filter you have on your phone where everybody's. You don't see. It's all like they're wearing so much cake makeup, and it looks like they have a filter on. I don't know why his last movie was in 2014.
What was it?
Big Eyes.
Oh, that movie was crap.
Yeah. And in watching the trailer for Beetlejuice, it has that same look, which I don't like it. I don't like that look because it looks stupid. To
me, it looks cartoonishy goth.
Yes, and if you're gonna do a sequel to one of your first movies where it was a massive hit, do it in the same, film it the same way you did the first one. Don't do it how you're doing movies now, where everything looks like a goddamn filter on a phone, where everybody looks like they have no expression, like no, it's all caked on makeup. And I don't know how I feel about it, because I just have in the back of my mind that this movie is going to be too hokey and too jokey and too like,
That's what I'm afraid of.
yeah, and that's where I'm getting the vibes from, where it's almost like we're trying too hard to recapture the magic of the first movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I saw the trailer, and of course, you have Winona Ryder that's in the first scene, and she's wearing what she wore when she was what? I don't know how old she was when she did
19,
19.
20.
She's still wearing the same outfit, which to me, I understand that she's Lydia. We all know she's Lydia. I don't agree with the costume choice, I guess. And then when I saw Michael Keaton, I was like, "Brr, like who did his makeup? Like
Yeah,
that showed his age so bad."
yeah.
But it just
I
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I to me, this could be like a Dumb and Dumber 2.
I hope not.
You know what I mean? Like we've got so much hype for, hey, we've got a sequel to a movie that came out almost 40 years ago, and
I mean, it's along the lines of everybody trying to redo these movies. Like
yeah,
it's just I'm gonna go into it with an open mind, and I'm gonna go see it I'm gonna see it either way. It
yeah.
just because it is a great movie. I just I hope it's not such a disappointment like the last
Dumb it
Halloween was.
like Dumb and Dumber 2.
Like Dumb and Dumber 2.
I do have one thing that I like is they're using practical effects for this movie. Tim Burton did
Yes.
come out and say, "Hey, we're using very minimal CGI. Most, if not everything, is going to be practical," which I think a lot of filmmakers now are going back to practical effects, because the way they look more natural now than what CGI is looking.
Mhm.
So for him to say, "Hey, we're going to be using practical effects like we did in the first movie,"
Mhm.
that's what you should be doing. Is okay. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's doing that instead of trying to do heavily on CGI, where you're trying to make these things look, you know,
He's not a big fan of CGI to begin with,
mm,
except for like a couple of his movies. He does a lot of practical effects, which is fine.
yeah,
I that's a good nod to maybe he's not going to try to fuck it up too bad. But his movies have been so hit or miss
yeah.
that I don't know. I'll just I don't know. I'm gonna give it a chance and see how it was.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you have the clip of the thing?
Yeah, I can only play a little bit of it before YouTube's gonna go, "Hey, you're violating our terms." So I'll pull it up though.
I was excited to see that they actually had dropped a trailer of it, so
Yeah,
that was good.
I was excited too. Um, I don't know, man. I just have my thoughts are
I have reservations too. I'm
my
I'm on the fence about it.
my thoughts are, please don't mess this up,
Yeah.
but they probably will, and but
Eh,
I'm sure it'll make a bunch of money if it's at least decent.
and see, she looks like a bad version of Elvira there for like no reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
And like they have the way it's set up and the music, and
yeah,
she's got the
yeah.
same haircut, and there's
Catherine
O'Hara.
O'Hara looks great though. I mean, she
Oh
looks
yeah, she
great.
looks
Yeah,
fantastic. Um,
yeah,
and of course, I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like I thought this would be a little more exciting. There's the old house and
yeah,
see, and
yeah.
I think they did Michael Keaton fucked up by trying to do this.
I did notice like the makeup looks. They could have
It
done a
looks
lot better.
bad. It looks bad.
Maybe
I
what we've seen so far in the trailers have been like test shoots.
maybe because sometimes they do that.
Yeah. Yeah, because what the first reveal, this is the actual official trailer. When they did
Yeah,
the teaser where they did this scene where he comes up and says the juice is loose,
he
he
looks
just
horrible.
yeah, he didn't look that great. Maybe it was the lighting, or maybe because he's just old.
I don't know.
I don't
You know
know.
what it looks like to me? It looks like to me like he's doing a parody.
No, it looks like to me they took the Universal Studios version of Beetlejuice and just threw him in the movie.
Yeah.
And Monica
Yeah.
Bellucci's character is supposed to be his ex-wife, apparently.
Which her outfit is actually fantastic. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool, but like it just looks like it looks like a parody.
It looks like it might be what Dark Shadows was.
I feel like they're gonna set it in Dark Shadows situation.
I
Which
hope.
Dark Shadows was it was all
Yeah.
right. But it
Yeah.
wasn't like, this is fantastic. And
Yeah.
Justin Theroux hasn't been in a movie in how long?
Wow, he's been mostly like writing movies and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's it for movie news.
Well, I have a couple things real fast. So you're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Okay.
The Munsters are getting a dark reboot from James Wan.
I saw that.
How excited are you?
I heard it was going to be like a television show, right? Not a movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be set as a television show. I happened to glance at it and I was like, please, let's just not do this
Listen,
again.
as long as it's not like what Rob Zombie did to it, I mean, why not? I mean, everything else is getting remade, so why not?
I mean, if it's a James Wan situation, he could go one or two ways. If it's going to be a dark reboot, then he's probably going to make it pretty fucking nasty. So, I mean, he can take a movie and make it decent sometimes when he's not working with anybody else.
I'll check it out if it's decent, but I don't like after whatever Rob Zombie did, the abomination that he set upon this world. After that, the Munsters should have stayed dead for the original TV show, not with what Rob Zombie did for that. You son of a bitch.
So the other movie that is coming out that we've seen already that has actually multiple trailers at this point is Longlegs.
Did you call the hotline last night like I told you to?
Yes, I was actually going to mention that. So I'm sitting there watching TV, and this one over here, he texted me call this number, and I was like, "What the fuck? What do you mean call this number?" So you call the number, and it's actually kind of creepy. Like it's a creepy message, and I think it's a great marketing thing for this movie. Where did you even find them? Where did you even find it?
I think I was on Twitter last night, and just the marketing. No, I was on like Google, like looking through news stories, and that's one of like the topics I guess I've been following because the marketing for this film so far has been genius so far.
Yeah.
With like the subtle pictures that they've been posting out, even like the trailers they've been releasing have not really shown. Haven't really shown. You don't really even know what this movie's about. And what they've shown is just kind of like quick cuts of just weird stuff, which I think for a horror movie about a serial killer, that's what you really need to do because you're not trying to reveal anything. And we've seen maybe one picture of what Nicolas Cage is supposed to look like in the film, and he's supposed to look really creepy.
Yeah. So they're comparing this movie to like a more fucked up version of Silence of the Lambs.
I'm cool with that. I'm on board. I've been on board with this movie from day one when I found the original teaser trailer and I watched it and I was like, oh, this looks super interesting. And then
they keep pumping out trailers like left and right. There's like 2 or 3 trailers. There's a thing that I pulled up that was on Game Radar. It says Nicolas Cage's new horror movie Longlegs has continued its creepy marketing campaign by launching a website that shares how the fictional serial killer slayed his victims and how Oregon police wound up connecting each crime. It's titled The Birthday Murders. The platform has an introductory homepage, a contact email, and an address, and a section that lists each homicide for each hair-raising gory detail. It says, be warned, said section features a staged gallery of disturbing blood-soaked images. So if you're a bit squeamish, you'd rather just not see potential spoilers, you might want to skip the virtual visit. So they've set it up kind of like an FBI site for you to go to. So this is another marketing ploy.
You know what this marketing campaign has reminded me of is the original Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah.
Because you remember when that first came out where it was everybody thought it was an actual real documentary. They set up the website, they had all these like fake interviews come up and all that stuff. That it reminds me of that because the subtlety of how they're marketing this film. I mean, kind of flying underneath the radar of everybody, but kind of not, because now it's starting to gain a little traction about what this movie is. And
Mhm,
they've really kind of ramped it up because of like now this new creepy hotline you can call. The movie's
mhm.
coming out in the next couple of weeks. But
Yep.
just the marketing campaign, it's been genius so far. It has just reminds me of the first Blair Witch, because you're setting up this I've checked out the website last night and it's really creepy.
Yeah, and this also gives me kind of vibes of Seven. Seven was
Yeah.
another one of those
Yeah.
movies that, for if you've never heard of Seven, you are living under the rock. Probably one of the best psychological thriller horror, I would say, horror movies there is.
Yeah.
Like, that movie gave me the creeps for the longest time. But I think I'm excited to see Longlegs.
The
I'm just
only
excited to
thing
check it out.
I'm hoping doesn't happen is Nick Cage doesn't go full Nick Cage. You know what I mean? I hope he plays this however he was directed by this director. Hopefully there he told him, "Look, I don't need you to go full Nick Cage on this. I need you to go half maybe Nick Cage, or maybe even at 25%,
But
because of
you know
just
this
just of the serious tone of this movie, you know?"
this is Osgood Perkins, and
Mm.
Osgood Perkins is actually Anthony Perkins' son.
Well, I
So
mean
there's a connection there.
I mean, we
But
all go a little mad sometime.
I
So,
think the way that they're setting him up is going to be kind of like a Kevin Spacey situation.
yeah.
Like, I can't
That
stand
see,
Kevin
that would be
Spacey.
cool. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
I can't stand Kevin Spacey to begin with, but the way that he was portrayed in Seven,
Detective!
yeah, he was really fucking unhinged, and I
You're
think that Nick Cage,
you're looking
the
for me, aren't you?
the way that he's evolved in his characters, like, the last couple movies he's done has been off the wall, but I
Mm,
think the way that he's evolved in his characters, I think he'll be good in this one, and I
yeah.
don't think they may not even reveal much of him in this movie.
Which I think is a good idea, because if you
Yes.
just leave him to maybe, like, the very end, or maybe if you're gonna have him in, just kind of flash him in,
Yep.
because it's from what I've seen in the trailer so far has been more like it's an investigation throughout the movie
Yep.
of all these crimes, and then, probably at the 3rd act, you're gonna see the showdown with him or whatnot. But I'm definitely gonna go see this movie in the theaters. I just
I would
I
love to too.
it looks creepy as hell. The reviews so far that have come out, they're saying it's very scary. It's
Mhm.
nuts. It's a crazy, like, scary movie. Like, yeah. So hopefully
Okay.
those are true. So I can't wait for it. So
Alright, well, the one of the last things I have, of course, like I always do around this time of year, so, Halloween Horror Nights is almost upon us, or is coming up upon us. They have already started listing the houses for this year, so the first one that was listed was Slaughter Cinema, or
okay,
Slaughter Cinema 2. The next one is Goblin's Feast. You
okay,
have Major Sweets Candy Factory, the Museum Deadly Exhibits, Monstrous Monsters in Latin America, Triplets of Terror, and then we go to one of the main houses is A Quiet Place.
okay. I'm not mad
So
at it.
I'm not mad at it either. I will be going this year, and hopefully you will be too. Um, I'm actually kind of, and I've read mixed reviews about this. People are either really excited they're going original houses, which the ones I just read off are almost kind of original ones,
Hmm.
or they're really pissed that we didn't have any, like, normal movie ones. I think the fact that they just did some original ones is going to be great, because for me, I've actually never seen some of the original ones.
Hmm.
So I think that would be a good concept. And The Quiet Place, I think it'll be good. I mean, I'm not mad at that, because the
Okay.
new movie Quiet Place 2 has come out. So
Yeah, the ones that we went into, was it last year we went to Halloween Horror Nights? Yeah, last year. The original ones that we went
yes.
into were not that bad. I mean, the monster movie one was pretty decent. So yeah, I
Mhm,
mean, I like it when Universal does their original haunted houses, not the ones based on the movies,
mhm.
because then they can get really creative with it instead of
Oh
having
yeah.
to, hey, we've got puppets popping out of you that we've seen a mile away. So
All right. So one of the last things I do, I'm going to give a shout out. So there's a team of guys and a site on Facebook, and I know they operate this outside of Facebook. So it's called the Vault of Horrors Live Action, or Live Auction. Sorry. And this is their card right here. So these gentlemen, they're online. They're collectors. basically. They've collected all kinds of things. Majority of them are horror. You have
You got some
figurines.
good stuff too, man.
Yes. You have figurines, you have posters, you have busts, you have pillows. I've actually purchased a couple things so far. You guys should go on Facebook and check them out. You have to like the page and or be invited to do it. There are a bunch of really awesome guys. They do have special guests from time to time. They usually do their auctions on Saturday nights. The next one will actually be tomorrow. And like I said, they're awesome dudes. Again, Vault of Horrors live auctions. You guys need to check those out.
Yeah, I've checked out a couple of the auctions. They haven't really, for me, like they haven't auctioned off something I'd want just yet. But like a lot of the stuff that they had is really, really cool. So,
the last time I was on, they auctioned off. It wasn't the one before. It was the one before that. There was a blade bust of one of the creatures, the one that had their face that opened up.
Yeah,
it went for $1,000.
Whoa, yeah. I'm not spending that much money on that.
Yeah, I know.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining in to a latest episode of Come Play With Us, Danny, the horror movie review podcast. Of course, make sure to go to our YouTube page, support us, subscribe, hit the notification bell when new episodes drop every single Wednesday.
Yes.
From now until the end of days. So we won't make you wait months for the newest one. So for myself and Megan, we see you on the flippity flop.
Bye-bye.